Well, hello. This is actually my very, very first live that I've done myself. Somebody did live for me once a few years ago, but this is actually my very first time. You don't know. Well, hello. This is actually my very, very first live. Oh dear. Uh, it was echoing back at me, so I hope it's still recording. Okay, well, here goes. So, oh, here we go. So this is my very, very first live. We will see how it goes. um, Most of you know I'm Lynn Hayden with Dancing For Him Ministries, and I've been procrastinating and putting this off for years. So, I teach live classes all the time. I mean, 4 days a week. I teach the ballet and the modern and all that. But to just press the button and go live, that's another story for some reason. But anyway, I just had in my heart to talk about prayer, planning, and practice. And it comes from the Processionals, Props and Pageantry book. And I guess when I'm finished with all this, I'll put it in the comments area in Facebook and YouTube, where you can get the book if you want. But anyway, I know a lot of you have done already your Resurrection Sunday presentations, and I'm sure it went well. It's exciting. It's an exciting time, and it requires a lot of prayer and planning and practice. And if I can just leave one tip, it would be to practice a lot. I mean, it's okay to be spontaneous in that, but if you've got a choreographed dance, you want your dancers or yourself, if you're doing a solo, to worship and not worry. If you practice quite a bit, you have that muscle memory, the kinesiology, the study of muscle, and it has memory, if you will. So like the more you practice something, the more it kind of gets down in your spirit, if you will, but even in your muscles. And so then after a while, after practicing it over and over again, it's like when it comes time to actually do it, you can focus on the Lord and worship while you're doing it, and worship and not worry. The other thing that I always used to do with big teams was I wonder if I'm still alive. Let's see, recording, live, active streams too. Okay, sorry about that. This is, like I said, it's my first time. Anyway, what I used to do was we would practice a good like 8 weeks, and I would try to make it just on Tuesday nights so that, we all wanted to get together like a second night, or maybe on a Saturday or something, but it's like, no, people have got families, they've got other obligations. A lot of times people are involved in many different things in the church, and so uh, you know try to just keep it at that one time. So that's why we had more weeks to practice something, so we would only keep it at 1 day a week. But then we'd always have I call it the dress rehearsal, but it ended up being the anointing service. We'd call it the anointing service. And that was usually on a Saturday after our church intercessory prayer time. We'd gather with the people in church and have our intercessory prayer time. And then we would stay and have our dress rehearsal. So we'd come to intercessory prayer time all dressed in our garments and ready to practice as one more time as if this was it. And so I would end up praying for each one, and a lot of times get a prophetic word and prophesy over each one, and it would just be this anointed time of worship and prayer. And then we look at the clock. I always like to end on time, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's time to leave. We didn't get a chance to practice, that one more time. But the thing was that we had spent that, 8 weeks or 9 weeks even. We had a pretty big team, so it was a lot of, it was a lot to do. Anyhow, so we spent all that time. So the more important thing was the prayer and intercession and anointing and, all that before, like the night before the presentation. And then it just went, the anointing was so strong on the dance. So that prayer time became more important than practicing one more time. Though, again, not to discount the idea of practicing often, or a lot, so you can worship and not worry. And then as far as planning, I always used to do these diagrams. And it's like I would take a page, I don't know if you can see it, and I would divide it up into like 8 quadrants. And, some dances, because they were so intricate and had so many people, I would divide it up into 8 quadrants and then have many pages. And then I would do like a legend, so like a square with a stick was a flag, and, a stick with a squiggly line was a streamer, and, the squares, oblongs was like a billow cloth, and then, stick figures were dancers and that kind of thing. And so, I would write the words of the song in the little square, and then, put my little diagram. Okay, this is what's going to happen during this portion of the song. And it's, it was really helpful, particularly when I had this huge group and, trying to remember all these parts, remember everybody's parts. So I would really, of course, I'd pray about it first and listen to the song over and over again and, really get it down in my spirit and ask the Lord to show me, vision of, how the dance should go or what, he'd want me to do. And once I got, a portion of the vision, sometimes I would go to the church and then do a, like, this section, I would do this person's part. And so I'd have to practice like from over here and how they enter and, go there and, okay, well, now let me try this person's part and, practice that and see the timing and that kind of thing. But, I always prayed about it. And then once I got that vision, then I would, write it down, because especially if you've got a large group or a lot of parts, you want to remember what you've done. Now, I've done it for so many years that I don't write it down anymore. The Lord gives it to me and then I just teach it. So, but, if you're starting out, it might not be a bad idea to write it down. So anyway, boy, I'm just like rambling. So prayer, planning, and practice. Start with prayer. Yeah, I would listen to like one song, or I probably listen to like 12 songs a year because I would listen to those songs over and over and over again until I really, really got it down in my spirit. Plan, listen to the music over and over again, write the words. I just want to see what else, if there's something else I wanted to say. The diagramming, yeah, like here's kind of like the diagram idea. Of course, they've got, apps now that kind of do it all for you, but I still like the pen, pencil, and paper, and just, I don't know. And plus, like, if you had to be absent for rehearsal, you could, hand your notes over to an assistant, and somebody else, should be able to hopefully read your notes and be able to carry on practice for you, in your absence. And so that's another reason why it's good to kind of plan it out, diagram it out and all that. Let's see, diagramming, yeah. One more time. I always used to say that one more time just means again. It's not like, okay, this is the last time, one more time. No, it's like one more time just means again. So we practice it over and over and over again. I have to let everyone hear the music. So, yeah, what I like to do also, like during the practice time, let's say you prayed about it, you've written it down, you've planned it out, you really have a good idea what, the dance is supposed to look like. I'm talking group dance here. And so everybody comes, and I like to let them listen to the music once, and then I'll stage it. I won't teach them the steps. We'll practice, where we go during parts of the song first. So we'll stage that. Um, and, then eventually start teaching them steps and whatnot. But I found that, I hope I'm not talking too long. Anyway, I found that a good way, if you have a larger group or even, 4 or 5 people, to go ahead and set people or have them go up front, let's say where they're going to be, presenting most of the dance, let's say. And from there, you'll naturally kind of see those who are more confident about being in the front row and those that are like, no way, I'm in the front row, and they'll go in the back. So if you have them go up there and say, okay, just y'all line up in like 2 lines or 2 rows. And so they go up there, and the ones who are more confident just naturally make their way to the front, and the ones that, aren't, go to the back, and that's fine. But anyway, and then just regress from there and back up. So let's say there's, 2 lines in the front, and then they would like back up, let's say down the aisles, right? And then you're already in your formation of how or where you would enter. That's just one example. I mean, obviously there may be different ways you're going to enter, or, whatever, but that's one way to kind of like line people up and then, back up. So then the first people in line will end up being like the first people that come to the center back, right? And then the last people there are going to be the ones that come in the front. That's just a little tip I thought of there. So anyway, let me see. Line them up or place, okay, have them exit river, okay, large banners, okay, hoops, close in prayer, okay. I just want to see what else I wanted to say. Should be able to worship and not worry. Okay, so I guess that's it. I just wanted to share, that real quick from the Processionals, Props, and Pageantry book, and just sharing some tips. Lord, help me to be consistent. I'll try to do more lives. We'll see how it goes. I don't see any comments, so I'm not sure if you're seeing this. I guess when I paused it over here in YouTube, I had seen like a thumb go up and like do like this bubble going up or whatever. So, but then it started echoing back at me. So I stopped what I saw in YouTube. So I'll figure it out eventually. So thank you for your patience with me. So real quick, don't forget the free 5-day live online challenge, dance challenge. Technique dance challenge. It's coming up. Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can share screen. Let me try that. Share screen. Let's see if this will work. Share screen. I hope you can see that. But anyway, this is dancingforhim.com, and it's the part where attend conference. So, and right now we're doing the spring classes where we do ballet on Tuesday and Thursday, Pilates and stretch on Wednesday, and Saturday is modern and choreography. And we're learning the song, I Praise You in the Storm. I'm teaching, that choreography. But anyhow, here, the free 5-day dance challenge for the praise and worship dancer. It's free. Is ballet, modern, Pilates, stretch, and choreography online through Zoom starting May 9th through the 13th. And so it's on Zoom, and if you can't make it, but you sign up, you'll get the recording. The recording is good for a week afterwards. And then if you sign up for the 3-week dance intensive right here, before the 5-day challenge is over, you get a huge discount. I think it's like 50% off on the 5-day a week package, if you will. And so it's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All the classes start at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they all end at 11, except Friday is going to end at 10:30. So hour and a half classes, except for Friday is an hour. So anyway, and then there's more classes in June and July, and I have it in the mornings. I know most people can come in the evenings. A lot of people sign up for my Saturday class, but that schedule just works for me and my body. If I do it at night, then I can't get to sleep, and I'm wide awake until midnight, and it just doesn't work. So fortunately, there's a recording, so you can record. I mean, get the recording. Anyway, so, and then there's other, events, conferences coming up, even live in person. I'm doing finally my first in-person live conference since 2019, because I'm immunosuppressed. I've had 2 kidney transplants, and so I'm immunocompromised. So when the pandemic was happening, I virtually didn't go anywhere. So I can't wait. It's going to be in Toccoa, Georgia. It's northeast Georgia, and that's going to be on August 4th and 5th. And so, I hope you can, come to some of these things. And then, of course, the school, there's, the online school, and there's all these different courses and classes and whatnot. So I won't go into that now. So anyhow, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you being with me and listening. I hope it went through. It says it's live. It says active streams too. So I guess it's working. So thanks for your patience with me. And like I say, once this is finished, I guess I'll figure out how to put, some links in the description box. And I don't know when I'll do this again. I guess since I finally broke the ice and did it, I'll probably do it more. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you at a class, a conference, or in the online school. All right, God bless.